Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. We are going to work on planting some microgreens today. These are trays from Bootstrap Farmer. I love these for microgreens. I can fit 8 in the 10 by 20 tray. Absolutely love this. And so what I'm going to do, the same thing as I did on starting my seeds in the previous video. I blocked off 8 different sections here, and then I'll put the date in what I'm planting in each spot. That way I know what is there as the seeds are coming up, or anybody else who wants to harvest the microgreens and use them knows what every single one of them are. I'm going to be loading this time around with potting soil. Sorry, we have landscapers out right now, so I'm trying to like break up the video so you don't hear all the leaf blowing and lawnmowers. Alright, so we're going to be planting in potting soil this time around, and then I may at some point try it in seed starting mix and then go from there. Alright, so I'm going to bring you down just a little bit here so you can see the potting soil. I'm just going to take my container and scoop some up. I don't want it totally full. You're really only growing until these get their, I believe they're true leaves, and then you chop them off and you eat them. So you don't need a ton of room here, a ton of dirt. However, I like to have enough that if I'm a little late picking them, they're okay. And then also I want room, I can put the seeds down and then sprinkle dirt on top of that. So we have our potting soil here. I'm going to do that with the rest. And there we have our trays. So this soil is a tiny bit moist. It's not wet enough for seed starting, but due to the fact that this is going to be microgreens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my seeds in, and then I'm going to lightly sprinkle the whole top, because this soil is more moist, unlike my seed starting mix, which is super dry. So that's why I'm not wetting it ahead of time. Alright, so we are growing one section of, let me grab out what I'm growing really fast. Alright, so my final decision is to grow 2 packages or 2 sections of the done peas from Haas Tools. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open this up, and done pea seeds are huge. So I'm going to grab these and I am just going to sprinkle them super thick over the top. Now any of these split ones are actually not going to grow. These are a little bit older. I probably should have used these already, but that's my bad. I'm going to use what I have. I'm not ordering new seeds for this year. So I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle them extra thick. I pretty much want every section covered on this. So put those back in and do that again. Just because I need to make sure I state this. These seeds are like, I think these are a year old. And I've kind of not been gentle with this bag, and when I first got them there were not a ton of split ones in here. So I would not, if you're seeing, when you actually see the pictures of this, that's not on them, that's on me and my care and provision for them. Alright, so that's another tray. So that's it for the done peas. I want to keep this closed and out of light. So the next one I'm growing two of is the cilantro. And cilantro, I don't know why I have a harder time with it here. See those seeds here? Growing it outside, I have to really grow it in the winter here, and I don't really want it in the winter. I want it in the summer and the springtime when I have tomatoes rolling in. And so for me, microgreens of cilantro have been the solution here in Zone 9B in Northern California. So if you are struggling, maybe a controlled environment where it's a little cooler than it is outside. The other thing to keep in mind is, I actually kind of want more there. The other thing to keep in mind is I'm not putting a heat mat on these because of the fact of what I'm growing. I have done heat mats on the bottom of my microgreens before, and I'm really trying not to do it this year, unless I have to, which I don't think I will. The cilantro, I have killed an entire square of cilantro just because I was using a heat mat. And I didn't take it off early enough. Not all these things are going to germinate in the same amount of time. So keeping that in mind and knowing that if you're going to be doing microgreens, having either all things that need heat or all things that don't need heat, because you're already stressing them out by having them in such a tight section, so close together. I'll show you what my two things of cilantro look like. And because you're stressing them out like that, it's really easy for them to not have enough water. It's really easy for them to be too hot. It's really easy for them to have all these things happen. And so it's the nature of dealing with baby seedlings, and then you're going to eat them at baby seedling stage. Alright, so the next one I'm doing two of is basil. Again, I don't know what the deal is, but I've been struggling with regular basil outside. It's also one of the first things that's eaten by caterpillars and things. And so I want to have the basil flavor on a lot of my cooking. And so I'm going to go ahead and get these sprinkled in here. And I'm just going to take it and sprinkle it over the top and then kind of spread those out a little bit, just to where it looks kind of even. And then I'm going to do that again. Buying microgreens is actually cheaper to buy seeds. So this is $3.99 for 6 grams of micro seeds, and that's a lot of seed. You can spend $3.99 on a packet of basil and not get this many. So this is a variety of different basils, but if you just want to grow some of these to full size for basil in your garden, this is a good way to get a lot of seed for cheap. Same thing with cilantro. It's the same thing you're going to grow in your garden. I'm going to sprinkle a few more on that one. I want to do this today because we're about to get rain again, and then after that we're going to be down like way below freezing. Not way below, but lower below freezing than we're used to. So I don't want to be out here in that. Okay, so I'm only doing one little square of the mustard seeds. And then one little square of the broccoli. This obviously is not going to go full size to broccoli, but you can eat the broccoli fine ahead of time. Okay, so I'll show you what this looks like, and then we'll start covering it. Okay, so here is our tray. We got our done peas, we have our cilantro, our basil, our mustard, and our this is mustard, and this is broccoli. So I'm going to go ahead and take some soil and just kind of sprinkle it across the top. Now, something to keep in mind is there's a lot of seeds that are going to be pushing through here, and it's going to be kind of funny if you've never grown microgreens before. I think it's hilarious when all of these basil seeds start coming up at the same time, and the dirt that I have placed on top gets it all comes up on top of the green, so you kind of need to just like pat it around and let it fall off, because you're really throwing up a carpet of that was way too much. Okay, so you're really throwing up a carpet of dirt right here, and you're gonna have a carpet of seeds come up, plants come up, and it's going to be they're going to be a force of nature against that layer of dirt. I don't worry if they're like all covered completely or not, but I want them to be just have a slight layer. I'm gonna do the same thing here, just very light though, because these seeds are super light. Super light. And then super light over here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to write before I forget. So the clip is going to go in the front left for me again, so I'm going to put clip there. And I have done pea, and it is 127 today. So done peas, 127. Oops. Okay, so this is cilantro, 127. And we have basil, 127. And then we have broccoli, and we have mustard. Okay, so now what's going to happen is, let's say I use up one of these trays of done peas before the other one, which is a high likelihood. So then what I'm going to go through is I'll just put a line through this, and then I'll write what I plant there next. And so maybe I'll do another round of done peas, or maybe I will get another round of cilantro or another round of basil going, and then I can just individually take out one of these trays when they're done and replant it. So that's why I like this. I don't have to deal with the whole 10 by 20 tray. Okay, so I'm going to wet this down, get it inside under the light, and then I will be updating you guys on this process. My goal is to end up doing a video at the end of it for this tray to show you from beginning to end how this is all going to work. I'm putting this video out this coming Monday, so you can see this portion, but then at the end of everything I will compile it and you can see everything all together, how I do microgreens from beginning to end, how I water them, how I take care of them, how they're set up under the lights, and so forth. But this is a great way to grow some highly nutritious food in your house. I live in an apartment. This makes it super, super easy for me to have a shop light set up, and I have these underneath that you can have them in your kitchen with a light over them. You can have them wherever where it's going to be easy for you and out of the way, but you're getting super nutritious food, and it's easy to add to meals. You just cut a little bit off, add it to. You decide you're not going to use all these, and you're like, do you know what? These cilantro are looking a little rough. I'm not ready to use all these right now. Let me chop them off and add them to some salt. You can have cilantro herb salt to use in the summer on your tomato sandwiches or something like that, and be able to have access to them. So microgreens can be used in so many ways. So I'll be sharing more about that and my process with this. I'm gonna get these watered and get them inside. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, seeds are started. Microgreens are started. The fan is on. The maps are posted.